Hi friends, welcome back to Nitwez Bioscience. Today in the series of the carbohydrate metabolisms, we will start a new topic, that is HMP shunt, hexose monophosphate shunt, which is also known as a pentose phosphate pathway, or it is also known as a phosphogluconate pathway. Okay, what is HMP shunt? Why it is known as a HMP shunt? Because this pathway, it is parallel to glycolysis. Okay, what is glycolysis? Glycolysis, it is the breakdown of the glucose molecule. Okay, first it is converted to glucose 6 phosphate, and through the series of the reaction, finally we will get the 2 pyruvate. Yeah, and some sort of ATP is also generated. But this hexose monophosphate shunt, it is not required to generate ATP. Instead, two important products we will get here, that is NADPH and ribose sugar. Yeah, that is involved in a biosynthetic pathway. So though it is an oxidation of the glucose, but it is this HMP pathway, it is more of anabolic in nature, and this glucose that is glycolysis pathway, it is catabolic in nature. Okay, so let's see why it is known as a shunt. What will happen here in the glycolysis? Glucose will first convert to glucose 6 phosphate, and here we will get the 2 pyruvate. Some of the glucose 6 phosphate from here or from the glycogen breakdown, they will undergo into the HMP pathway, HMP shunt. Okay, so, suppose 90% of the glucose molecules are entering into the glycolysis, some 10 to 20% will enter into HMP shunt. Yeah, and here in the HMP shunt, some 2 intermediate product we will get, that is NADPH and ribose sugar, pentose phosphate. Therefore it is also known as a pentose phosphate pathway. And finally at the end we will get the some product like glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and fructose 6 phosphate, which will again enter into the glycolysis. Okay, so are you getting? Glucose 6 phosphate is coming here from glycolysis or from glycogen breakdown, following certain pathway, and again entering into the glycolysis, and then further glycolysis process will takes place. Therefore it is known as a shunt for glycolysis. Alright, now let's see what is the difference between the glycolysis and HMP shunt. As we had discussed here, some reducing equivalent like NADPH, it is formed here in the HMP pathway. This is HMP pathway and this is glycolysis, this side. Okay, so NADPH, and if you remember glycolysis pathway, there we are getting NADH. So there is a difference between NADH and NADPH. Here in HMP pathway we are getting NADPH, and in the glycolysis we are getting NADH. This NADH will then enter into electron transport chain to generate ATP. But NADPH will not enter into electron transport chain. This is the major difference. Okay, there are few other difference. Here we will get only the monophosphate. In the glycolysis, diphosphate is also involved. Okay, monophosphate, ribose 5 phosphate, fructose 6 phosphate, erythrose 4 phosphate, all monophosphate we will get here. But in the glycolysis, both monophosphate and the diphosphate. Okay, pentose sugar, here hexose sugar is also involved. Then CO2 molecules will be liberated. No CO2 molecules, because 6 molecules are already there, and 3 molecules of pyruvate, 3 carbon compound pyruvate we are getting here. So no carbon will be removed here. Here one of the carbon will be removed, and therefore we will get the pentose sugar. One of the carbon will removed in the form of carbon dioxide. So here no CO2, CO2 will produce pentoses. Here we will get the pentose sugar. All the hexoses are involved here. Diphosphate, in the glycolysis diphosphate, but here only in the monophosphate. Then glycolysis will take place in all the tissues, but HMP shunt will take place in the specialized tissue which are involved in the lipid synthesis or cholesterol synthesis, and which are the rapidly dividing cells, and we will see the reasons why this pathway it is important in the synthesis, matlab fatty acid synthesis or lipid synthesis. In that case this pathway is active. And another major difference we had discussed, NAD is NADH is the reducing agent. Here the NADPH means NAD will accept the hydrogen or electrons, and here NADP. Alright, so what we had discussed, that HMP pathway, hexose monophosphate shunt, it is more of a anabolic in nature, though it is a oxidation of the glucose, but the two important products generated here, that NADPH and the pentose sugar, it is involved in the biosynthesis. Okay, so before starting the pathway, we will see the importance of NADPH and pentose sugar. Yeah, and then we will see the examples where this pathway is active. Alright, like glycolysis, it is active in the most of the cells, in the all cell glycolysis process is involved, but this HMP pathway, this takes place only in the specialized cell. Alright, so first we will see the importance of NADPH. Again I am mentioning here, NADPH, it is different from NADH. NADH generated during the glycolysis and the Krebs cycle, that will enter into the electron transport chain. Alright, but this NADPH, it will not enter into electron transport chain, rather it will help in the biosynthesis. Okay, so in glycolysis pathway ATP is generated, but here in the HMP shunt no ATP will be generated. So what is the importance of NADPH? NADPH is involved in the synthesis of fatty acid and steroids. Yeah, during the fatty acid synthesis, this NADPH is involved. Second is the free radical scavenging. What is free radical scavenging? During the various metabolic process, free radicals are generated. Those free radicals are harmful to our macromolecules like DNA, RNA, protein. They will bring the deformities over there. So the glutathione is required over there. So this NADPH, it helps to keep the glutathione in the reduced state. So in that way it will help in the reducing the damage of free radicals, because free radicals brings the damage to our macromolecules. Then RBC membrane integrity, same, the reduced state of the glutathione is required to maintain the membrane integrity of RBC. Okay, so glutathione, to keep glutathione in the reduced state, NADPH is required. Then and detoxification of drugs. So these are the importance of NADPH. In all these things NADPH is required. Then pentose sugar. Here for example ribose 5-phosphate is generated. So this ribose sugar, it is involved in the synthesis of nucleic acid. We all know that nucleic acid like DNA and RNA, it is made up of nucleotides, and in nucleotides ribose sugar is there. Alright, so this pentose sugar which is generated from HMP shunt, it is involved in the nucleic acid synthesis, means ribose sugar with nucleotide means nitrogenous base will attach, phosphate group it attach, and the sugar, so together it make the nucleotide. We are aware of that. So that sugar will come from the HMP shunt. And some other nucleotides like ATP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, FAD, coenzyme A, for all these things ribose sugar is involved. Okay, so this is the importance of ribose sugar generated from HMP pathway. So we had discussed about these two products generated from HMP pathway, the importance of these two, that is NADPH and pentose sugar. Alright, so we had discussed about the importance of the products generated from HMP pathway, that is NADPH and pentose sugar. Now we will see the site where this HMP pathway is important. These pathway are important in the cell which are generated in the, we had discussed that it is which is generated in the fatty acid synthesis and the steroid synthesis. Yeah, so the examples are liver, adipose tissue, adrenal gland, then RBC, testes, okay, lactating mammary gland, these are some examples of the tissues in which HMP pathway is highly active, because these are involved in the synthesis of fatty acid. Alright, so okay, so up till now we had discussed the significance of HMP shunt. Now we will start the pathway. Okay, so HMP shunt, it starts with the glucose 6-phosphate. This glucose 6-phosphate, it will come from glycolysis or from glycogen breakdown. So glucose 6-phosphate, first it will undergo into dehydrogenation in the presence of enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. Alright, as it is a dehydrogenation reaction, so here we will get our first NADPH. NADP will reduce to NADPH plus H in the presence of magnesium ion. Okay, this step is very much important because this is a rate limiting step, or this step it is involved in the regulation of HMP shunt. So after the dehydrogenation reaction, glucose 6-phosphate will convert into 6-phosphogluconolactone. Alright, first step is the conversion of glucose 6-phosphate into 6-phosphogluconolactone in the presence of enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. Now the next step is the hydrolysis, where gluconolactonase enzyme is there. Water molecule will add here and we will get the 6-phosphogluconate. 6-phosphogluconate here. So this is the second step. Now third step, again the dehydrogenation reaction, that is here we will get our second molecule of NADPH, and this is a oxidative decarboxylation reactions where the carbon dioxide is also removed. So this is starting with the, here is the 6-carbon compound, this is also 6-carbon compound. Alright, now as this is an oxidative decarboxylation reaction, so there is a removal of one carbon dioxide and along with that hydrogen is also removed. So NADP will convert to NADPH. Here we will get a second NADPH molecule. Again magnesium ion is required here and carbon dioxide will be removed. Enzyme makes 6-phosphogluconate dehydrogenase, and now here we will get our first 5-carbon compound, that is ribulose 5-phosphate, because see this is the 6-phosphogluconate, it is a 6-carbon compound. As one carbon is removed in the form of carbon dioxide, so we will get our first 5-carbon compound here, that is ribulose 5-phosphate. This step, starting from the glucose 6-phosphate to ribulose 5-phosphate, it is known as a oxidative phase of HMP shunt. HMP shunt, it is divided into two stages, oxidative phase and the non-oxidative phase. Oxidation means what? Loss of electron or the loss of hydrogen. Yeah, so because of this we are getting here the 2 NADPH molecules. So up till now this step is known as a oxidative phase. The further step is known as a non-oxidative phase. So this ribulose 5-phosphate it will undergo into isomerization reaction and epimerase. So two enzymes are involved here, isomerase and epimerase. So with the action of this enzyme isomerase, ribulose 5-phosphate will convert into ribose 5-phosphate, and here we will get the xylulose 5 phosphate. Now xylulose 5 phosphate. Now as you can see that there is no removal of carbon atom here, so all the compound form here, they all are 5 carbon. Alright, and this ribose 5 phosphate, as we had already discussed, it is very much important in the synthesis of nucleic acid and various nucleotides. After that, one trick is there to remember the further step. We can remember by remembering the enzyme names. So enzyme names are present in the sequence as transketolase, transaldolase, and again transketolase. Okay, transketolase, transaldolase, and again transketolase. So first transketolase enzyme. What this enzyme will do, it will transfer the 2 carbon fragment from ribose 5 phosphate to xylulose 5 phosphate. 2 carbon will transfer. So already this is 5 carbon. Minus 2 carbon means 3 carbon compound we will get here is the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Alright, and xylulose 5 phosphate, it was already 5 carbon plus 2 which is come from here to 7 carbon compound, that is pseudohaptulose 7 phosphate. Okay, so this is a 3 carbon compound, this is 7 carbon compound. Transketolase, and transketolase, for the action of transketolase cofactor is required, that is thiamine pyrophosphate. So transketolase work in the presence of cofactor thiamine pyrophosphate. Alright, now see, glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, it is what? 3 carbon compound. Pseudohaptulose, it is a 7 carbon compound. Alright, so from 7 carbon, 3 carbon fragment will be removed. 3 carbon. So already glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate has a 3 carbon plus 3 carbon will come from here. So now 3 plus 3 means 6 carbon compound we will get here, and that is fructose 6 phosphate, which is a 6 carbon compound, and from 7 carbon compound 3 carbon fragment has shifted here. So it will remain with the 4 carbon compound, and the name of that compound is a erythrose 4 phosphate, which is a 4 carbon compound. And we had learned the sequence, that transketolase, and the now is a transaldolase enzyme. So this reaction will take place in the presence of enzyme transaldolase. Now next what will happen? Already we got here one fructose 6 phosphate which will enter into glycolysis, and this remaining erythrose 4 phosphate, which is a 4 carbon compound, it will react with the xylulose 5 phosphate. Some molecule will enter here and the some molecule will react with erythrose 4 phosphate. So erythrose 4 phosphate and this will come here, that is xylulose 5 phosphate. So we had already discussed that it is a 5 carbon compound and it will react with the erythrose 4 phosphate, which is a 4 carbon compound. Enzyme is same, transketolase. Write with another pen. Transketolase. And what is the cofactor involved here is thiamine pyrophosphate. Now listen, erythrose 4 phosphate 4 carbon compound, xylulose 5 carbon. So from 4 carbon compound, one of the carbon will shift here to xylulose 5 phosphate. So from 4, one will be removed. So 3 carbon compound we will get here, that is glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and now 5 carbon will get 1 carbon from erythrose. So 5 plus 1, that is 6 carbon compound we will get here is a fructose 6 phosphate. So these are the end products of HMP shunt, that is fructose 6 phosphate, glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and again before one step we will get here fructose 6 phosphate. So all these will enter into the glycolysis. Yeah, starting with the glucose 6 phosphate, it will help in the biosynthesis of some molecules, and again it is coming into the glycolysis pathway. Therefore it is known as a shunt for glycolysis, and the name has given, that is HMP shunt. And the intermediate product formed here, that is NADPH and ribose 5 phosphate, it is helped in the biosynthesis, that we already discussed, that NADPH, it is involved in the fatty acid biosynthesis. It is help for the free radicals, to prevent the damage from the free radicals, and the ribose 5 phosphate, it is involved in the nucleic acid synthesis. Alright, so this is all about the HMP shunt. Alright, so this is all about the HMP shunt. If you are finding this video useful, then please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.